Hey guys, thanks for joining. It's about time that I updated you on, well, this tank I was showing you, wasn't I? This with here. Basically the background is done. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a little bit thicker on the sides than I expected it to be, but hey, that was my first attempt. At the moment, everything is stopped project-wise here. Due to some personal reasons, personal crises, I'm stopping my projects just for a little bit. But I'll show you exactly how I did this now, and then I'll explain to you a little bit about this. Hey everyone, welcome to day 2. So the last video you would have seen that I built, started doing the background and stuff. Been to the beach this morning to find some driftwood. Found this amazing piece of wood. It's incredible. I've had to saw it down because it was like another 3 foot. So I got some bits to go from the other side as well. Driftwood is good, bogwood is better, but this will last a long time. Happy days. So I'm going to be doing the right hand side next as you look at it, and get this big hunk of driftwood stuck in place. Sweet, let's get at it. So this is all I can do for day 2, man. So the next to day 3 as well will go hand in hand with day 2. So it'll be day 2 and 3 for this vid. But this now, my awesome piece of driftwood is in, and I'm just leaving it now 24 hours because it's heavy as well. It needs to set properly before I move the enclosure. I will also, once it has set, I'll then go around with more foam, making sure that it's right in there. Frogs can't get round the back and get stuck and die. So that kind of stuff. But at the moment, let's get in there. I'm happy with the way it's going so far. Stand up here. You can see how fucking massive it is. It's huge, man. Alright, happy days. So that's in. It's got a nice bit of root which I wanted. So the root will be above the substrate line as well. So they can go in and out, in and out. And then plenty of bits to stick to drill broms into. I've also got then another couple of pieces of driftwood that are going to come out from the other side. But for now, got it. So everybody, welcome to day 3. As you can see, the log is in, a side piece of log is in, back log of log is in. Where else? Oops. There's also another side piece of log that you can't see as well. I've got, today's going to be carving day, because this is fat. It doesn't need to be this fat. So I've got my secret weapon. Now this, fuck, I just scratched my ass. So this, look, is a wire brush. Wire brush on a power drill. Very sharp. And literally what I'll do is like this fat bit spear, hold it tight. Just carve it as I want. Also have a knife, I'll be taking chunks off it, making it all nice. It's all secure inside it. Cleaning this bits up like that, look. Clean it up. Like that, this takes it off. And once that's done, then I can start to obviously clean up all this dust. And then start painting it. Now painting it with a sealant and a colour, because obviously you don't want this yellowy champagne colour to shine through once you silicone all the substrate onto it. That's kind of the mistake I made with the last one. What you can do is you can just do it straight onto it. So you can put silicone and then pack substrate onto it. And then when you find the little yellow bits in between, like the little gaps and stuff, you can just keep in a couple of days, put more on, a couple of days, put more on, a couple of days, put more on, that kind of stuff. So you can do it that way. Or what I'm going to do is I've decided I'm going to cover the majority that I can with substrate and silicone, and then if I find any gaps, that's what I'll be painting with a sealant as well. Sweet, but it needs like this texture here. So the original texture, the smooth stuff, is not good for sticking onto substrate onto it. So you need to have it all. It needs to be rough. So let's just crack in. Sorry guys, I forgot to turn the camera on. So what I've been doing here is, you've just seen me shape all the foam with my power driller killer. Now I am siliconing over that and dumping a mix of coir, tree fern root and sphagnum moss. And I'm sticking that down into it. So I'll just pick up the camera for you so you guys can see. Ah, fuck me, I fell over. Okay, so you can see against this tree root here, I've put loads of silicone across the side. Worn gloves and rubbed it all into every single gap I could find, and then really pressed coir, ground up fern root, tree fern root and sphagnum moss, and I'm going to leave that there now for about an hour, maybe even 2 hours. Well, I'll just go downstairs, have a cup of tea, you know, whenever I come back upstairs. I'm also then going to do this side next. I'm also building up a aquarium safe mortar on this, so it's more like stone effect as well on this side. So that'll be cool. Also with the aquarium safe mortar, if there's any gaps and you see any yellow coming through, I've got the choice then to either reapply silicone and put more of the substrate onto the back of it, or I could then paint on the mortar so it's like a highlight. Just be a bit cool. So I'll carry on this side now. That mortar should be nearly set anyway. And then, well, we'll just keep plodding along, right? And making sure to take your time and giving everything time to dry. So you do it from every angle, right? So I've laid it on its back for this one. I'll do the sides that I can see from this side. Then I'll do the back that I can see from this side. Then I'll turn it on its head, do the same looking down, and then turn it upside down, do the same looking looking at the bottom. So really you want every single angle to be covered, so that there's none of this horrible champagne yellow sticking through. But I don't know if I'd give you a good shot of this wood. I'm loving it. It's an amazing piece of wood that I found washed up on the beach. And yes, it'll rot away eventually, but you know, that's all part of it, isn't it? I might even see if I can inoculate that wood with some mycelium so it grows mushrooms as well. That'd be amazing. Sound. I can hear my belly going because I'm on my breakfast. A few flies in there, right? So what I've done, basically I've now made a stone or rock effect. I've just sprayed this down, just a lot darker than it well, that's the colour it's going to be basically. You think of it all planted and everything, and moss growing over everything, it'll be wicked. I've got some Margravia, species of climber, so here. I put a philodendron. That's a climber or a creeping plant, so the way I put it in there, it should climb, well, fingers crossed it'll climb. If not, it will just trail down like that. So that's pretty damn cool. I've also stuck moss into the background. So this moss around here is sphagnum moss all around here. That'll grow now. Sphagnum moss is really good, right? You can batter it, dry it out, blend it, smash it, stick it onto backgrounds, and it always comes back. So a few weeks, month, that'll be green. Then I got some Java moss and sphagnum moss, blitzed it all together in the missus's food processor. She'll f***ing kill me. And then added with yogurt. Okay, so make like a soup, like a moss soup basically, and I've painted it onto all the bits that can soak it up, so the spores in the moss will grow. This here is all the same. That's why there's a few flies in there now, because obviously the yogurt is attracting a little bit of flies, but they'll sort themselves out. So that's that. Until that's planted, that's where I am with this tank. Let's go over to this tank over here and I'll show you a little bit about that. Alright, so cool. Now, this tank, I wanted to go for a really small, simple background on it, because it's going to be a terrestrial tank, so more of an arboreal tank on this one, terrestrial on this one. I've taken cuttings of the prayer plant, so the begonia the philodendron. I've also got a lot of magravia on this, the climber. I love magravia. This the shape of their petals, what the fuck, their leaves, and the way they grow both up and down at the same time. So they're rooting through the, basically, they've got, what do they call them? They've got feet, basically. I'm sure it's called a foot. Probably called a foot. I might be wrong. But that actually grips onto the substrate in the back. And then they pull their nutrients through as the water runs down. Okay, so I think you'll see that my background on this is a lot more, oh that's a little bit wobbly, never mind, is a lot more realistic. So we've got a stone effect, and I've got some, basically these are, what do they call them, driftwood pieces in there. They're like roots, so they to look like the roots of plants. All of this then is going to be kind of planted. I've put the substrate in here now just to keep the humidity up, and you'll see this. So this is this one here is Magravia sintonensis, and then we've got Magravia umbellata here, and then a lot of unidentified ones that I have no idea. I think that's umbellata over there. This is something quite cool over here. No idea what it is. And then I'll show you what I'm doing. So the clippings now. So this begonia. This is a begonia. Okay. This begonia has come from the small frog tank, and what I'm doing is just basically rooting it in the fresh water. Same with these, the prayer plants. You can see that they are actually rooting, so they're ready to be planted. Same with this philodendron. Look, these got really nice big roots on them, so they're ready to be planted as well. Everything really is ready to go. This is just in here for the humidity. All right, so it's a monstrous Swiss cheese plant, and you can see at the bottom. Look, here we go. It's starting to root with me. So that's a cutting from a big one downstairs. I've got a couple of them around the house just to see what they like best. It looks like they just like being in high humidity with water. So that's really cool. I'm also experimenting, right? I just took a complete chunk of the same thing, the Monstra. Look at that. But even from something that size, you can see that it is starting to root there. See if I can. See? It's pretty damn cool. So even from things like this, you can work really cool plants from. So I'll pop him back in there. So I'll show you the background nowscape, and then that's it for now. Please mind my shaky hands. So here are the Magravia species. Aren't they lush? You see what I mean by their leaves? That's that weird one over there. I don't know what that is, but they will grow up and down, like I said, and I've pinned them. So I put the pins right, so they don't actually go through any of the plant or the leaves themselves. They just hold them up to give them a good chance of establishing themselves on the background. The prayer plants look like that. They are wicked. And then the begonia. This is like a dwarf begonia with a small leaf and a white spot. This lush. It's not quite like the pink polka dots, and it doesn't grow as big. So I want to keep everything kind of trim, small, because I'm going to put an absolute shit ton of plants in here. But yeah, so if you like this, hit me up in the comments. Tell me how my first kind of background's gone. It doesn't look too bad in my opinion. But time will tell, innit? Literally. Take it easy, guys.